Hello and welcome back to I Create For You. This is going to be the last ghost story in the Ghosts Among Us book, and we will probably be venturing into the Hamburg ghosts, and those are also true stories collected by Charles Adam III. And I can get the book really quickly right now. I have it handy, and this is going to be at Haunted Hamburg. And that one is the one that I will be going around to the places that these stories originated from. So that will be a cool addition um, to the ghost storytelling. All right, so we're in the justice served kind of realm where these people were probably their lives were taken, and it wasn't natural. So this story is How Sweet the Sound. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. When Lynn Mueller sang Amazing Grace, it was indeed a sweet sound. It was her favorite song, remembered one of her friends, artist Norma Jean Campanaro. Lynn sang it so beautifully that the memory still brings tears to Norma Jean's eyes. Lynn has been gone for nearly 3 decades now. Few people speak of the vibrant young woman whose strong voice once filled the lovely old church on East Main Street in Ventura, California. Most folks in Ventura probably don't remember her name. They may recall that a shocking murder occurred on East Main Street, but they don't know the details. Oddly, news accounts of the brutal killing were brief. The local newspaper reported there was a strict news blackout ordered by Assistant District Attorney Michael Bradbury. The Muellers' friends and acquaintances said and the police were forbidden to speak to reporters. All these years later, the public is still in the dark about much of the case. Born Lynn Marie Balducci on November 5, 1953 in St. Louis, Missouri, she had lived on East Main Street just 2 months, yet it is there her spirit remains. As mentioned in the previous chapter, the haunted Victorian Rose B&B is housed in an old church in 1975. Lynn was a happily married 21-year-old who lived next door to the church and worshipped there with her husband. Their house was a small rental, and their landlord applauded them as excellent tenants who were excited about painting and landscaping. The Victorian Rose owner, Richard Bogach, said that the ghost of Lynn frequently manifests there, sometimes in mirrors. Guests report seeing Lynn in the loft. That's where the choir sang, he confided. Before joining the church, the Muellers had lived a fun lifestyle as entertainers, but the church frowned upon such things as rock and roll, television, and short skirts. Lynn loved the Lord, stressed Norma Jean. She joined the church because she thought it was right. For the last 2.5 years of her life, Lynn embraced her new religion. Sometimes when guests at the Victorian Rose see the apparition in the matronly skirt with her hair pulled back in a bun, they assume it is the ghost of an older woman. But Norma Jean points out that Lynn, as dictated by the strict codes of her church, dressed in the frumpy fashion of an old lady. Lynn was vivacious, with much love to give, and by all rights should have had many years ahead to give it. She taught Sunday school, and children flocked around her, mesmerized by the kind teacher who always had a hug for a little one. She would have been a wonderful mother. On a May evening in 1975, while her husband was at work, Lynn was viciously attacked and stabbed. The murder was so ugly that ambulance drivers were not allowed near the scene. Her husband was devastated, remembered Norma Jean. It was the worst murder in the history of Ventura, and frightened citizens were anxious to know who was responsible. But weeks slipped by with no answers. The weeks turned to months, and the months to years. A killer had gotten away with murder, and a persistent spirit clings to a place she loved. When Norma Jean heard that Lynn's ghost was still seen at the Victorian Rose, she formed a prayer circle there, hoping to help the restless soul cross over. But Lynn's ghost still appears at the B&B. It is as if she won't leave until justice is served. Norma Jean strengthened her resolve to find that justice for her friend. "I've been to the police station many times over the years," said Norma Jean. "They have nothing new to tell me. Witnesses have shared information with this writer that the police were previously unaware of. If the killer is reading this, he should be aware that these witnesses have relocated and would be difficult for him to find. Their signed testimony is in a safe deposit box." What is this compelling information? A male authority figure in the church was known to punish female members for actions he deemed inappropriate. For obvious reasons, details here will be vague, and I will call him Mr. Weeds. Mr. Weeds' punishment was so humiliating that even today these witnesses are traumatized when they speak of it. Is it possible that Lynn was being punished by Mr. Weeds when she met her violent death? Another disturbing fact has also risen. A little girl among the parishioners who spent time with Mr. Weeds attempted to unalive herself. What would make a child so upset that she would choose death? Was she tangled up in a controversy that led to Lynn's murder? Did Lynn intervene on the child's behalf? Is that why she was so swiftly silenced? Was that her punishment for speaking up for a child? The night of Lynn's murder, a church member was giving a party and Lynn called to say she could not attend. Mr. Weeds, too, was conspicuously absent from the party. He was, however, present at the funeral. The church was packed, and the pitiful wailing of the children who loved Lynn punctuated the sadness. So many cried, yet one among them could have been weeping crocodile tears. The killer would have been a stranger. Mr. Weeds might be nothing more than a cruel man. But that is not for me to decide. It is the job of the homicide detectives, and perhaps with the publication of this book, they will again pick up the investigation and look at these new leads. Maybe this murder will finally be solved. Yea, when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life shall cease, I shall possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. As in the words of Lynn Mueller's favorite song, maybe then she can find peace. Whew, that was a humdinger. That is kind of tragic that the one place that seemed to give her a lot of joy and give her peace while she was alive seemed to have been the place that caused her end. And so I don't know if that's irony or what, that the place of peace is now giving her unrest. And people she thought she was safe with may not have been people she was safe with. So I'm going to try to do like an image in a mirror. Whew, that was a hard one to get out. I'm just going to do a face in a mirror. So bear with me on this. So I'm just going to probably do like a handheld mirror. Although she was probably seen in a full length mirror, I'm going to do a handheld mirror. Oh, that's still yucky looking. Alright, it is the wonkiest mirror I've ever seen. I'll just make it fancy. Fancy schmancy around the outside. Why not? We got the time, right? Make it weird looking. Wonky. Ooh, man. This is the wonkiest looking. Looks like a flower. We'll just leave it at that, right? Make it seem like it's just like a cute floral mirror. So I'm gonna, this face is gonna be like up close and personal. I don't know. I think if I was like sitting at a mirror to like put my contacts in or whatever, and this face appeared in the mirror instead of my own, I think I would really freak out. I'd be like, wait, what? What's going on here? I'm out of here. I'm gonna try to make it a little creepy, of course. That's how I roll, right? This may not be the best drawing, but hey, you get what you pay for, right? Oh, that's right. I'm a free channel as of the moment. I'm still not monetized. That's all right. I do it because I like to sketch and keep my skills a little bit up to snuff. So while I do that, I share it with you guys. So something I like to do, and I will continue until I can't. Until for some reason it, it's no longer meant to be. Talk about your creepiness. I'm getting it on here today. Here comes the magic blender. There we go. Look at that creepiness. Creepy face in the mirror. Wouldn't you like that looking back at you? Not. Nope. I'd be fine without that. Thank you for coming along in this book with me. That one's going to be added to the book that might be up raffled off at the end of the year. And like I said, in these books, I don't go from the front to the back and read every story, so there are plenty of unread stories in each book. So it's not like you can just I'm narrating the whole thing. So there'll be different surprises in there. Maybe there's stories in there that you wish I would have read, but you won't know that unless you win it, right? Okay, so stay tuned. Like I said, we'll try to do a few. This one won't be in the raffle because it is of my hometown, so I will be keeping this one. But we'll get into this one starting on Friday. Okay. Now, Through all this, I'd like to also say stay happy, stay healthy, stay true to yourself, stay creative, stay kind, and most of all, stay tuned for the next video. Please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and if you have so far, thank you so much for following along. Bye bye for now.